Hello, brothers and sisters. I'm Ron Nyberg, and welcome to the official Kenny and Kevin re-election podcast. I'm going to toss it over to them in just a couple minutes to address you. But first, I want to go through some of their wins over their administration and their time in office. This is the most transparent and accessible administration ever. With increased communications via social media, newsletters, podcasts, and videos. You visited over 145 jobs, reduced the member health and welfare out of pocket by 1%, recovered thousands in back wages, changed the retirement age to 59 and a half, founded AMPed, grew assets for 613, established Rome, Columbus, and Athens meetings, helped secure jobs at Truist Park, UGA, and Auburn. For the first time ever, over 1,500 people voted in the last contract. It raised pension rates on multiple agreements, created new ways to grow solidarity through the bass tournament and softball team, started the apprenticeship book program, increased membership from 3,500 to over 5,000 members, organized 50 new contractors, the largest wage increase for apprentices in the history of 613, negotiated Martin Luther King Jr. as a holiday, and added Kaiser as an option. Now, Kenny, I want to know how you guys were able to accomplish all of this.
Well, thank you, Ron. Number one is simple: listening and dedication. Dedication to the brothers and sisters of Local 613, serving them every single day, doing whatever it takes to make sure that them and their families are taken care of. But the listening piece is what's huge. We listen to their voices, as you said, transparency. We implement the things they want done. And so that's how we have all of these wins and we never let up. Reducing the healthcare, the 1% in the healthcare starts by being relentless, not letting up. When that happened back in 2013, the pretense that it was brought to us was, we need you to make these concessions and then we'll give it back to you when times get good. Well, we haven't seen that. Times are good. We're having to go and advocate and fight for everything that we've received over these last 6 years. I can't ever remember administration that has put theirself out there that accessible to my brothers and sisters or put theirself on the line to do what it takes to get done. We're below the Mason-Dixon line here in the South. We hear so many rumors about how we are not a strong local union. Unions can't survive in the South. Well, we're changing that. Us, this administration, the brothers and sisters of 613, we're doing our part to change that. The generation coming up now is in the fight. You got to have an administration that's willing to fight and stand on the union principles. We can't take less. We can't take 1.8%. That's things that has weakened us over many years in the past. And it's time that labor's voices are heard. It's time that we get what we're owed. We are owed a livable wage, pension. We have to increase our pension. We're doing things now that we've never done before with the help of the brothers and sisters. You go back to 2017, you talked about the apprentices. For the first time in 14 years, back in 2017, the apprentices got a raise. They've got a raise of $8.60. There's all these misconceptions. The contractors are wanting to meddle in this election because they are scared of the power that this membership is gaining. And we're able to gain that because we're all moving forward together. And so that's one of our main ways that we're increasing all this is by listening to the brothers and sisters, dedication, and never stopping the fight, because that's what we're in. They can tell you they'll want to give you money and, this much money's been offered and this much money has not been taken. They can pay us whatever they want, brothers and sisters. But what's scaring them more than anything is the movement that's happening here in this local union. And I'm glad to be a part of it. I would ask that we all continue to move down this road. We are taking the handcuffs off the most powerful economic tool we have, and that's you. That's you, brothers and sisters. We're taking those handcuffs off by changing the way we're structured in CIR. That's one of the goals that we listened to the members in 2021 of October. The members stood up and made a motion on the floor to go to modified CIR. There again, you hear listening coming back into the equation. We're servant leaders. All we want to do is serve the brothers and sisters of this local and continue to move it forward without us having to concede everything. Pay livable wages for everybody across the board. Apprentices should be on a percentage. CWs and CEs should be on a percentage. And those are the things that we're advocating for, and that we're moving this local into the direction to get back to the union principles and to make sure that your voices are heard. 1,500 people voted on a contract in 2020. The last contract, 1,500 people were able to vote and their voices be heard, which direction this local wanted to go. That's not the way it used to happen. I show up to a union meeting in 2013, not knowing we're going to vote on a contract, get given a piece of paper at the union meeting, low attendance. There's probably 90 people there. We lose double time. We start paying 3% out of our pocket. That's not what we do. We want to be 100% as transparent as possible. And that's what we're doing, because at the end of the day, we realize we work for you. And I would ask that we continue to move this local forward in a direction with union principles, and all your families be able to enjoy a livable wage and the amenities that a union craftsman has to offer.
Kevin, what do you want to add to that? How were you able to secure any of all those wins?
Well, when we were first elected in 2017, it wasn't long before we realized that there are short-term goals and then long-term goals, things that it's going to take laying a bunch of groundwork to achieve later. And that's part of what Kenny was talking about. So we focused on the short-term wins and goals and things that we could accomplish the first 3 years, and then laid groundwork for bigger wins later. And then in 2020, we were blessed with the membership be able to vote confidence in us and reelect us again. Pandemic hit, we were able to lead the local through the pandemic and make some actions with the special COVID short-term disability, and they allowing the lack of work access to your Vanguard for those that are affected by it through the pandemic. All along this whole time, we keep laying the groundwork for those bigger, more long-term wins. And like Kenny was saying, and that's what we'd continue to do this last 3 years that we were elected. And then now we're looking and hoping for the membership to give us another vote of confidence so that we can continue for another 3 years. And some of these projects and these goals that we've had that are long-term that we've been working towards, this next 3 years is when they're going to come to fruition. Kenny's laid the groundwork on the pulling out of the CR and the modified CR language, as well as many other things that I won't go into here. I don't want to beat dead horses, but that's why we need to continue for another 3 years with this leadership so that we can get those wins for those long-term goals. That's all I'd like to add right now.
Okay, so I appreciate all that. If reelected, what does the first 100 days look like? Kenny?
Well, I want to make it easier and more convenient for our brothers and sisters in Athens, different parts of the jurisdiction, to grab a referral. Less economical, where they don't have to come all the way to the city, so their families don't have to spend as much money on gas and take up half the day coming down here to obtain a referral.
Yeah, a good way to do that, speaking from trustee of the Electrical Workers Home Association, would be to purchase a building in the Athens area for our Athens satellite hall that Kenny can have there to refer people out, as well as have our Athens unit meetings there. And that would be a great way to grow the assets for the Electrical Workers Home Associations, similar to what we did several years ago, purchase of the Rome satellite office or Rome building.
Yeah, brothers and sisters, look forward to having a new place to take a referral in Athens, that 613's building, so we can have our units there and families can go and take referrals, and it'd be a place of our own. We have one in Columbus, at Rome, centrally located here in Atlanta, of course, and now we want to expand, and we'll add that in the first 100 days in Athens, Georgia.
Another thing that we're going to work towards completing in the first 100 days would be reestablishing our BCA, benefit credit account, which is actually a HRA, health reimbursement account, through our board of trustees on the health and welfare side. That'll be approximately the time frame that the fund will be audited, and we can't see how much money that we may have to be able to fund a BCA HRA until we get our health and welfare fund audited this year, and that'll be during that time period. So that'll be one of the things that we'll be doing in the first 100 days, will be trying to reestablish the BCA, which is a health reimbursement account for those that joined the local and since then.
Yeah, and also in that first 100 days, we are on the brink of one of the most prolific contract negotiations Local 613 has ever experienced. During that 100 days, we are going to change the shape of this jurisdiction. Over the next 18 months, it is very important that we continue to see out the plan that's been implemented toward our long-term goals. Take the handcuffs off of labor and give us the ability to negotiate the best contract we've ever had in the history of IBEW Local 613.
Well, brothers and sisters, I thank you for joining us. Kenny and Kevin, do you have one last final statement that you'd like to make?
Yeah, Ron, I'd like to say just a couple of things real quick. I know over the past 6 years, there's been a question that's continued to come up, and then it seems like it's more, it came up even more here recently at the union meeting a couple of months ago, and the Coffee with Kenny questions, I believe it was, and from several in person talking to members on a one-on-one basis, the members asked what they can do themselves to help further the local union. Well, one of the main thing that they can do this year during this time period to help further the local union is to give me and Kenny another vote of confidence and reelect us again, to put us in office for another 3 years so that we can continue to move this local forward. So that's all I'd like to say. I appreciate the opportunity, everybody. I love everybody. I hope everybody has a good rest of your day.
Yeah, I'll just kind of expound on what Kevin said, just to let you know I appreciate what you do every single day. I care about your family. I want you to be taken care of. Continuing to fight and advocate to get you the most I can get you and to give you the best service that you can have for your families, to be able to have an administration that truly cares for you, that cares for your well-being and your children's well-being, and wants you to be successful. I love you. I love this job, the ability to serve you each and every day, and I look forward to seeing you soon.